Got some company for this edition of OffBeat here on North Shore 9, presented by FanDuel. My name's Alex Stumpf. This is a daily look at your Pittsburgh Pirates. And today, we are joined by Altoona Curb, third baseman Murf Gray. Murf, how you doing?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Welcome to Altoona.
Thank you, man. I'm happy to be here.
How used are you to the AA game now?
Getting a little more used to it. Guys are a little more finer, especially on the pitching side, but also defensively. There's a lot of great plays being made.
Mhm. How difficult is that? Starting the year in Bradenton, making
Right.
the jump to Greens, two moves in 1 year has to
Right.
be something.
It's just like you take it with a grain of salt, man. You're just happy for every opportunity. You're happy to continue to move up, but even more than that, you're happy wherever your feet are. Just like staying humble with the game and staying to your approach.
What has been the biggest difference you've noticed between those three levels?
Consistency, but not missing your pitch, man. When you get that one pitch, sometimes that's the best pitch you get during that at bat. So I'm learning now it's more of a chess game than a checkers game. That one pitch you get, that might be the best pitch you see all day.
Seems like you've been hitting that best pitch a lot this year.
Thank you.
As you see yourself grow as a hitter, what are you most proud of?
Most proud of right now, just the consistency to, put bat on ball, but even more than that, just continuing to have good ABs, trying to limit, the chase a little bit. But, it's going to happen regardless. We want to limit that as much as possible. But with that, just learning from, the times I do chase and the times I don't chase.
If you look at your college stats versus now, I think one of the biggest takeaways is the walk rate pretty much doubling in that time.
Right.
How much of that is the cutting down on the chases? What are you doing?
Just, trying to battle, especially getting into different counts. If I'm in a 2-0 count, just staying more consistent to a zone I want to hit in. And especially like even in 2-strike counts, knowing what they want to do with the ball, knowing that they don't have to give me what I want to hit. So staying patient till I get what I want to hit or till I can take my walk.
Talk about your actual swing, just comparing where we saw you whenever the Pirates drafted you.
Right.
A couple things really stood out to me. One of them is the leg kick.
Right.
Adopting into that a little more. Take me through that.
Adopting the leg kick, man. Before it was like a short leg lift where I was like kind of inconsistent, really didn't have the consistency. And then once I got to GBAP camp after I got drafted, it was more so how can we maximize you getting to a spot every time and staying consistent. And we were able to do that with the leg kick. And from there, it's more so like feeling the consistency of getting my leg up on time, being in the air on time, moving forward on time. And with that, I'm making good contact and good barrel path to the baseball.
How much is it a timing challenge whenever you have that extra, lack of a better way of saying it, an extra step to the swing now?
Oh, yeah, 100%, man. I want to say the first like 2 or 3 weeks that I was doing this, I was really struggling because it was like, man, how can I be on time? How can I get this going? And it ultimately came down to me getting the foot up earlier and getting the foot down earlier. That way I'm almost waiting for the pitch. That way I can see the pitch, recognize the pitch, and then make my swing decision.
What is the timing then for you? Eyeballing it, it kind of seems like whenever the pitcher's going back, starting their motion, that's whenever you're kind of starting yours too.
It can really vary. Some guys have a short and quick arm. Some guys have a longer arm. So I really like to time it based off of the break of the pitcher's hands or even sometimes the leg lift, just depending on how fast the guy's throwing.
Another thing I noticed, you've always been kind of upright, at least in college. Right. And now whenever you get into that load, it seems like you kind of crouch a little bit, kind of get into a different position.
Right.
Fair to say? Or
yeah, kind of getting down into a position to where I can maximize getting to the baseball. But while I'm staying tall, I was able to spin out of my swing quite a bit. So now that I get a little bit lower, I'm able to rotate my body, stay through the ground, stay grounded, and not come up out of my swing.
Is that also a product of the Get Better at Baseball camp, or is this something that you've been?
That's something that was kind of a product of the Get Better at Baseball camp, but even more than that, we expanded on it during spring training, breaking down video, watching different hitters, just like little things like that.
And I just looking at a couple swings you had in Bradenton versus, Greensboro versus now, it does seem like it's also been a work in progress, a development point for you.
100%. It's always a work in progress, but even more than that, it's now how can we be consistent to our routine? How can we be consistent with our swing? And then how can we transfer that into the game? How can we not get off of what we worked on this whole time?
What do you look at whenever you're trying to accomplish those three things?
Biggest thing I look at is my feet and my setup, where I am in the box. I want to make sure I'm there every single time in the same spot. Then from there, I'll start moving up, look at the hips. Then from there, I'll look at the leg lift. And then after that, I'll kind of look at the upper half, which I really don't want to look into that too much because that should be a product of the lower half. Once the lower half fires, everything up top should go right after.
Yeah. Do the hands move at all now with this new setup at all? Like they do drop a little bit. I mean, looking at it, but like, is that any different than what you were doing in college or earlier?
No, so that's all pretty much the same. You know, I worked on that with my hitting coach, Derek Kuhn, in high school. It was this big thing of not letting myself get too far back and barring out my arm. So he was like, where would you want to start from? And I was like, honestly, I can start from there where I'm ready to go. So I've always kind of started there. That way I can, you know, still have a little bit of rhythm, but I don't have to take my hands back. They can stay right here and fire from right here.
Do you still work with Derek, or who all do you work with outside of the org?
Right now, I kind of work with Derek a little bit. I know I work with him right before the draft, and then I usually, you know, text him or he'll give me a call here and there and just check in. But he was just one of my great guys I always work with because he knew how to keep the game simple, and that was the biggest thing he preached. How can we simplify things? And that's ultimately what it is now. How simple can we be over the course of 140 games? You know, we try to do too much, and you know, things get out of whack. Our body starts feeling bad. We just got to keep things simple.
Another thing with the swing that has stayed the same that I admire, at least, the steady head.
Right.
Not at all keeping in. I mean, that's something that. Can you just explain why that's so important? I guess.
It's so important because I actually went through a little patch in Greensboro where my head was moving a lot. And when your head moves a lot, your eye level continuously changes. So you're trying to hit a pitch that's coming in and moving and going different ways. With all this head movement and eye movement, you're not going to be able to do that. So the more steady my head can stay, the more steady my eyes are going to be. That way I can recognize pitch out of hand very quickly.
Do you notice that your head's moving and you're getting that different level? How do you get to that conclusion?
Sometimes you don't notice it, but when you go through a little patch of like, okay, little inconsistency, I'm not getting to the spot I want to be in. All right, let's go back to the video. And then you start to pick little focal points. So I would look at video from the front angle, pick a focal point where my head is to start, and then realize that my head's dropping. And then I'm like, oh, okay, it just dropped 2.5, maybe 3 inches because I'm crouching down too much. Reset, go back to cage work, restart.
Are you a big video guy whenever you're looking for that feedback, or you feel talking to players, coaches, or?
You know, it's funny because I used to be real old school, not too much in the video. I didn't like watching the swing or anything. Now that I have access to that, it's really just like a reset for myself. When was I feeling good? Let me go back to that video. Let me watch that video. Now let me pull up a video of me currently. Okay, I see the two differences. Now go back to that in my cage work.
Is that, do you actually ever pull up like a GIF side by side, or is it you have 2 tabs, or?
You know, I really didn't do that until I got to Bradenton. That's when they started to show me that, all right, look at these 2 swings side by side. And I'm like, I didn't even know you could put 2 swings side by side like that. So we're watching these swings side by side, and it's like, man, you can clearly see the differences. You can clearly see how one swing is synced up and one's a little out of sync. And to me, it's just the most amazing thing because as a player, you get to use all of these tools to make you better and grow as a player.
What are maybe some other tools that you're using right now?
Right now it's really just like a lot of like true media, just going back to look at swings, and then even pictures. I found that pictures, when my leg lifts in the air, you can break down a lot of things. You can see if I'm in sync. You can see if my head's moving a lot. You can see if I'm a little too tense in the forearm, like little things like that.
Does True Media have that, or is that something through the team? Or
True Media has that, but I've even looked at pictures that people have taken like at games.
Oh, wow.
And it's like I'm looking at my forearm, and you can just see me like flexing and just like gripping the bat really tight. And it's like, you don't want that. You want to stay as loose as possible. Make sure you have that natural flow into your swing.
So we're gonna use Instagram as a resource.
It's almost like using like, Instagram as a resource, but I mean, just seeing little things, just breaking little things down whenever you can, like whether it's video, whether it's pictures, or whether it's, you know, one of these guys, the hitting coach, is telling you like, hey, we noticed this, we can help you expand on it. And that's one thing that's really beautiful about the sport now, is you have hitting coaches, you got your high ups, you got video, you have all these tools to make you a better player.
I know this is a very broad question, and the answer is probably going to be real simple, like get a hit.
Right.
But whenever you're in your bag and you're really working, what are you trying to accomplish at the plate?
Line drive up the middle. Line drive up the middle. I'll set my sights to right center, and I'm continuing that same barrel path, because if I catch the ball out front, single to left field. If I catch it middle, line drive up the middle. If I'm a little late, line drive to right center. So that's the biggest key, not trying to do too much and making sure I'm consistent with that.
Noticing you have use that opposite field a lot,
Right.
especially in Greensboro. It seemed like, I mean,
Yes.
you don't normally see that from right-handed power hitters of being able to go to right for damage too.
Right. And that's the beauty of Greensboro, man. The ball jumps out there. So you can really think to a simple approach because you know the ball's going to fly everywhere. I don't have to do extra. I don't have to do too much. I can let my barrel play to all sides of the field.
I know the goal's Pittsburgh. I know the goal's to just get better. Is there even like 0.1% of you like, damn, I was really doing some good stuff in Greensboro. Let's see what that OPS at the end of the year could have been.
I've been trying to just not look at the numbers, not look at any of that stuff, because to me, that's what, gets me out of sync with everything. Or I want to look at batting average, OPS, on base percentage, little things like that. The more you're going to take yourself out of sync because you're going to worry about, okay, I didn't get a hit this game. I didn't get on base this game. It's going to become a cycle of you worrying about what's happening. You just got to play the game. Be happy where your feet are.
Fresno's produced some pretty good right-handed hitters.
Right.
I guess you could say there's Taylor Ward.
Oh, yeah.
There's that guy who wears 99 in New York.
Oh, the big guy, Mr. Judge. Yes, sir.
You ever meet him?
Yes, I got to meet him at his jersey retirement, and he's actually a part of the same agency I'm with. But what a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Great guy, keeps things simple, and he's always working hard. And that's one thing, like, being from the same school that I'll look at and value every day.
Your swing, do you model it after anyone? Like even before you got into pro ball?
So honestly, I kind of looked at Judge a little bit my junior year of a college. It was more so like modeling how simple he was with his load. He didn't have a big leg kick. He didn't have to do too much. He didn't have to swing hard. So that's what I tried to adopt into my swing and just kind of took that and ran with it.
Do you think you're accomplishing it, or
I think,
how close is it to, like, I could try to paint a Picasso.
Right. I thought I could get pretty close to it and try and model it, but everybody has their own swing. So it just took me learning little things from him, like his setup and his leg lift, and like adding it to my swing and how I like to swing the bat.
Got to meet you last year in Bradenton,
right?
Whenever you were a new draft pick. You have this great year, having a great year right now. You're now recognized as a top 100 prospect by some. How real does it feel? And is it at all weird, now that you're maybe getting more eyeballs now?
It doesn't feel real. It just, or not, doesn't feel like real. Feels real, but I mean, it feels awesome. It feels cool to accomplish something, that cool. But even more than that, just staying humble through the process. Coming into the year wasn't about like, how can I explode my numbers? How can I be top 100? How can I do this? It was more so like, how can I play the game the right way and, earn the trust of the Pittsburgh Pirates to, keep me and stay in the organization. I want to play this game as long as possible, and I'm thankful that I'm a Pittsburgh Pirate. So if I get to do that in Pittsburgh, that'll be amazing.
Then we can wrap up on this one. What do the Pirates have in you? What should Pittsburgh come to expect whenever you get your number called?
They're going to expect a humble, hardworking guy. I'm going to play that hot corner with a lot of pride, but even more than that, I'm going to show up every day ready to work. The goal is, get to the postseason and ultimately, win a World Series championship. And I think we'll be able to do that, whether it's this year or in the next few years. I believe that the Pittsburgh Pirates have a great organization, willing to work hard and get after it. And, I'm ready for the ride.
Murf, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching Offbeat here on North Shore 9, presented by FanDuel. We'll talk again tomorrow.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.